Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel for another video. I'm sitting down this afternoon with a coffee and hopefully about 30 minutes of free time to film a video, a Q&A for you guys. It's probably going to be a pretty short video, but my kids are napping, so I thought I'd take advantage of this time and sit down, have a little chat, Q&A with you guys. Alright, so let's jump into the questions. I have my phone here, and that's what I'm going to be reading questions off of. I didn't get a ton of questions this time, which is totally fine, but I did get some good ones that I'm looking forward to answering for you guys. Okay, so I'm going to do the Instagram questions first, and then I'm going to hop over to YouTube, and I think there were maybe 3 or 4 questions left over there for me to answer, so I'll go through those then after I do the Instagram ones. So the first question I got was, how does your daughter interact with the new baby? So I have a 2-year-old Zendaya. Well, okay, she's not 2. She'll be 2 in a month. She's almost 2. Zendaya. And if you guys are new to my channel, I also have a little baby, Kai. He is 2 months old now. And she does really good interacting with Kai. She wants to help out a lot, which can be a little bit, what's the word? I definitely have to monitor what she's doing with him at all times because I don't want her trying to pick him up by herself and dropping him, or sometimes she doesn't understand that you just have to be super gentle with little ones. So she can get a little bit rough without realizing it sometimes, and that's something that I have to really keep an eye on. But she definitely does love him, and she wants to help and do all the things that she can with him. The second question I got is, how long do you plan to stay in your apartment? And I really don't know. For those of you, if you're new, we live in a 3-bedroom apartment, and right now prices around here for houses or land to build anything is really expensive. So we are kind of just staying put right now. We're totally fine where we are, so we'll just wait and see if something would happen to come up, or if God would bring something along that is meant to be for us. Then we'll see when that time comes. But I don't really have a definite answer for how long we're going to be here, or we're not really intending or actively looking to move at the moment. The next question, which was submitted by the same person, is, how did you choose your kiddos' names? So for our kids' names, my husband actually started a name book before we even met, and so he had a lot of suggestions for names, but I don't even think all of our kids' names were on the name book, like all the names we've chosen. So Zendaya, her name is Zendaya Frost, and Kai's name is Kai Denali. So for Zendaya, we just both liked the name Zendaya, and it was kind of one we just heard one day, and like, I think Nelson messaged me about it and asked me if I liked it, and I really did. So we just went with that because we're like, well, if we find something better, we'll change it. And then for her middle name, we really liked the name Fern, but I didn't care for Zendaya Fern. So we looked for another short F name, and Frost is what we came up with. So that's how Zendaya Frost came about. And for Kai, we were looking at middle names for another name we had picked out, and Kai came up as a middle name we were searching online or something like that, and we really liked it as a first name. So we used Kai as a first name, and then Denali is one that we just kind of heard and came up with, and we didn't like anything else better, so it kind of stuck, and that's how we chose them. So I wanted to say a huge thank you to Flix for sponsoring today's video. Flix is an online streaming service that guarantees wholesome content for you to watch. I love that when I log on to Flix, anything on there is going to be God-honoring content. It is going to be reviewed. They do a minute-by-minute review for all their movies and shows so that they can guarantee that the content there is wholesome and has good values, that it's not going to have something on the screen that you'd rather not see or that you'd rather not have your kids see. Not only does Flix have great content and wholesome content, but their plans start as low as $7 a month, which is great and super competitive with other leading brand streaming services. Flix also has a wide variety of movies and shows on there. They even have a select kids section for the younger kids if you kind of want to sit down and watch something with your kids, or you just need a minute and you want to turn something on that you know is not going to have any bad language or scenes or anything that you'd rather not your kids hear if you can't be exactly in the room with them at that minute. I know Zendaya has been loving sitting down with me and watching some VeggieTales in the evening. That's something she's huge into. But there's some other great movies on there as well. October Baby is a wonderful movie that is currently on Pure Flix. Pure Flix also has some great family shows and movies that you can look into. They have a lot of top titles and they rotate through different movies, so there's certain movies that will only be on there for a limited time. It gives you a chance to access a broad range of media if you're looking for some new movies you want to watch with your family or even just by yourself, but you want something that's wholesome and you don't have to worry about the content that is in that movie or in the show. If you're interested in trying out Pure Flix, they are doing a free 7-day trial for you guys. So head down to the description box and click the link to try Pure Flix free for 7 days. I highly recommend them, and a huge thank you to Pure Flix for sponsoring the video. Alright, Erin asked, what is something you wish that you would have been told as a teenager? So this might be a little bit of a controversial answer. I hope it's not. But something I wish I would have been told as a teenager is that you don't have to go to college and you don't have to have some like amazing job. Like, it's okay to just be a mom, stay-at-home mom if that's what you want to do. And I definitely am not knocking the value of college. I definitely think it is valuable, and if you're someone who wants to pursue a career that needs a college education, then definitely go for it. But if you're someone who wants to be a stay-at-home mom, or for me, I'm a stay-at-home mom, I'm working on a YouTube channel, I really enjoy that. Yeah, I'm really enjoying where I'm at right now, and I don't really have any desire to go to college. So for me, yeah, that's kind of something I wish I maybe would have been told as a teenager, that it's okay not to want to go to college or not to do something like big and fancy. Just being a mom and an example to your children and a good wife to your husband is a wonderful career if that's what you would like to do. Alright, for the next question, Valerie asked, was the transition from 1 to 2 kids harder or easier than you thought? And I think I got this question from another person too. Yeah, I did. To be honest, I don't think I really had any major expectations for it, because for me, I'm not even going to expect anything, because then if it goes bad, if it goes great, wonderful. If it goes bad, well, that's fine too, because I wasn't expecting it to go great, you know. So I don't know if I had any expectations. I think for the most part, I would say it's gone really great. Like I said, I don't know if I had really expectations for it to go bad or for it to go good, but it's gone pretty good. Zendaya hasn't seemed so far to get super jealous, which is something that I was like, what am I going to do if she gets really jealous while I'm trying to feed Kai, that kind of thing. So that's gone really good. Something for me that I know I need to work on is being very patient with her, because she tends to get really excited or jump around, especially when I'm feeding Kai. He does not like loud yelling and jumping all over the place when I'm trying to feed him, and Zendaya can kind of come into wherever I'm feeding him and get really loud and jump around, and that tends to just, I don't know, bother him, and so therefore it bothers me. And so something I need to work on is definitely having more patience. Overall, I think it's gone really great. I don't think it's been too hard or difficult of a transition. I've definitely had to slow down a little bit more, but that's something that I expected, and that's one of the things that I've just had to be okay with. You have to kind of like tell yourself, you know, it's okay if you can't get a lot of stuff done, go do a lot of things. If all I do all day is play with the kids, and if we just sit down and watch a movie together, and that's all we do all day, that's totally fine. I don't have expectations for what I need to get done every single day. I have things I want to get done, but right now it's just kind of, you just kind of have to roll with it, and I think that's helped it to go a lot smoother than if I had some big expectations for jumping right back into YouTube or for getting a certain amount of things done. I think that would definitely make it more difficult. Next question. Someone asked how things are going with Kai. Yeah, sorry. Things are going really, really good with him. So he is 2 months now, and wow, time has just gone so fast. He is a good baby. He doesn't sleep through the night, but he typically gets up between 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and then 6 and 7, and that's typically like I'm already up by then. So it's typically about 2 times he wakes up through the night, sometimes 3, but that's pretty manageable. And yeah, it's definitely okay. I'm doing good as far as sleep wise. I don't think it's affecting me too badly. I do try to nap more, that kind of thing, but yeah, he's doing really good, and it's really, really fun having 2 little kiddos around the house. Next question I got is, I think I answered this one in another video, but asking what my family or what family thinks of my YouTube channel. So I honestly didn't tell hardly anybody when I started a YouTube channel. I didn't even put it out on social media. That's not what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to promote your channel, but I just wasn't sure how I felt about people knowing that I had a channel, and so it took me a little bit to be comfortable with putting out there. But now yeah, I think most everybody knows that I have a YouTube channel, and I haven't really received any flack or negative comments about it. So if people are not okay with it, they definitely keep it to themselves. And I've also received a lot of support from family as well. So yeah, I think most everybody is pretty cool with it. It's a new thing. I know one person who has a YouTube channel, but they're not family or relative or anything like that. So it's definitely a new thing. But yeah, so far I've got a lot of support for my channel and for doing this. The next question I got is, when will you and your husband do a Q&A together? Well, I did not get that many questions on this Q&A, so in order for me and Nelson to do one, I probably would have to have more questions. But we actually did one together, I believe it was last fall. That was the last Q&A I did, was with Nelson. I will try to link it up in the cards, some side, if I remember. And you can check it out if you're interested in hearing kind of both our takes on different things, that kind of thing. I had a lot of questions for that Q&A, so it's quite a long one if I remember right. But anyways, those are all the questions I got from Instagram, so I'm gonna hop over to YouTube and finish answering the questions I got over here. Alright, so what is my favorite Bible verse? What version of the Bible do I use? So I actually grabbed my Bible real quick, and let me turn to the verse. Okay, so I think personally for different seasons in our life, or at least in my life, different seasons, I feel like I have different verses or different passages in the Bible that mean the most to me. And so the one that I'm about to read has been probably my favorite for the past 2 years or so, maybe a year and a half. And the church that Nelson and I go to actually sings a beautiful song that is written off this passage. I absolutely love it. Every time I hear it, it just gives me chills, and I just, oh my word, I just almost want to cry because I love the song so much and I love the words of it. So this is my favorite passage right now, and let me see how long it is. Alright, I'm just gonna read this whole passage because it's in Psalm 61, and it is such a beautiful psalm. It's 8 verses, so it's really short, but this is what it says. It says, "Hear my cry, O God, listen to my prayer. From the ends of the earth I call to you when my heart is faint. Lead me to the rock that is higher than I, for you have been my refuge, a strong tower against the enemy. Let me dwell in your tent forever. Let me take refuge under the shelter of your wings. Selah. For you, O God, have heard my vows. You have given me the heritage of those who fear your name. Prolong the life of kings. May his years endure to all generations. May he be enthroned forever before God. Appoint steadfast love and faithfulness to watch over him. So will I ever sing praises to your name as I perform my vows day after day." This passage has been probably my favorite recently. I love it. I actually have it on my letterboard here in the living room. Just a great reminder that when life is a little bit overwhelming, or we just don't know how to handle situations, God definitely should be our go-to point, and he is the rock, and he knows everything, and he definitely can lead us through those situations, and he's someone that we can trust in and lean on. And yeah, that's my little favorite passage, little excerpt of that. But then they also asked what version, let me see here. Okay, what version of the Bible do you use? So the version that I read out of, I believe this is the ESV, and this Bible was a gift. Here, let me show it to you guys. It's really pretty, I think. It was a gift for me when I graduated from high school. I love this Bible. It's called the ESV Student Bible. I will try to look it up and link it below if I can. I recommend this Bible so much. It's so easy to understand. I really like the ESV version because sometimes the King James can just seem rather difficult sometimes for me to understand in its language. It's English, but it's like really old English, and sometimes all the these and thous and all that kind of stuff can kind of get confusing. So this is a lot easier for me to understand. It has like the what's it called? Let me just show you guys. All right, so this is the passage in Psalms, and if it will load, you have your verses up here, and then down below you kind of have a summary of what your verses are. So it says for Psalm 61, 1 through 3, it says, as the congregation sings this, they imagine themselves in all kinds of places, the end of the earth, and circumstances when your heart is faint, in which they feel needy and in danger. In such times God is a reliable refuge and strong tower. So basically it summarizes your verses for you, gives you things to think about. Sometimes it gives you a better interpretation of the verse, what it means, and I love that. It's so nice for when you're reading the Bible, when you're reading a passage, or when you're trying to understand what you're reading if you've never read it before, or anything like that. So I highly recommend this one. Like I said, I'll try to link it below, but this is the one that I use the most and absolutely love. So next question here on YouTube. Someone had a question about salvation, kind of what we believe. So as far as what we believe about salvation and what we believe in order to be saved, we believe that you come to God and confess your sins and repent and place your trust in Jesus Christ, and he will save you from your sins, and then you begin growing in your relationship with him. They also asked, can you lose your salvation? So what we would believe is that no one is perfect, so I'm not going to say that you're ever going to get to a place where you will never ever sin again. I don't believe that, but I also don't believe that you have to sin every day. I think you can live above that. The Bible gives us great guidelines and kind of stepping stones of how to live and what things please God, and I feel like if we follow this, we definitely are going to have a conscience that is aware of what we should be doing or should not be doing. And so I think it is possible to lose your salvation, but I think it's not just something that God's not just gonna say, okay, you messed up, you're out. If you do mess up or you make a mistake, you can always pray, come back to him, ask for forgiveness, and he will readily forgive you. And so it's not something that you have to be worried about, I don't think, every second of the day, but I do believe that it is possible if you choose to deliberately sin and go against God. It is possible to lose your salvation. Another question I got is, do you listen to secular music? And in answer to that, I would just say that I try not to listen to things that, or I don't listen to things that glorify anything that's inappropriate or anything that is displeasing to God, because I don't feel like I should just be filling my ears or my mind with anything that God deems as inappropriate or that displeases him. So I think that is kind of my guideline for the type of music that I listen to, but definitely enjoy listening to music that points my heart to God and draws me closer to him, as opposed to music that just fills my mind with busy thoughts but nothing of God. So the last question that I got on here is from Rebecca. She said, hi, I would love if you'd share your birth story and how many more kids you want. So for the last part, Nelson, I think we talked about that in our last Q&A, so definitely check that out. We don't really have a set number. We'll just kind of have to see. It's something that we'll have to see. But for sharing my birth story, it's pretty much a non-complicated birth story. So I choose to birth with a midwife. I know that's not for everybody, but that's what I enjoy doing. And I go to her house. It is about 5 to 10 minutes away from here. She has a little birthing center attached to her house. But with Kai, I went into labor about 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning, and I was in labor for 6 hours before he was born. So he was born at 11:17. I was here at home pretty much almost the entire time, almost up until he was born. So that was pretty much non-eventful. I just was, here at home, walking around, doing whatever, trying to take my mind off of what was happening. But he was born at 11:17. I think we finally left here to go to the midwives at like 10:55. So we were actually over there for about 20 minutes, not quite, before he was born. It was a really, really fast birth, but everything went really smooth. I had no complications. I have really great births, so I'm super, super thankful and grateful to God for that. But that's kind of my birth story. It's nothing super exciting or eventful, and hopefully it continues to go that way if we have any future children. Alright, so that's all the questions I had for this Q&A. I hope you guys enjoyed sitting down with me. Definitely was a little bit of a shorter Q&A, but I hope you enjoyed it and maybe learned something new or anything like that. If you have any more questions or you didn't get to leave a question on this Q&A, you can leave it in the comments down below, or I can always do another Q&A in the future for you guys, and you can drop them in a question box then. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Don't forget to head down to the description box, click the link for Pure Flix to try it free for 7 days. I know you guys will love it and enjoy the selection of media that they have on there. And I will see you guys next week in my next video. Bye guys!